What's up, y'all? Back once again. It's Iskosi Umfundisi. You know what I'm saying? Out here enjoying this wonderful, wonderful day. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice little warm day in my state for the, for the late months. Anyway, I'm out here outside doing this video. Anywho, and this post right here coming to Minneapolis, the mini post I never heard them before. So I'm gonna back up their works with something from the APA on this category, on this subject. And this is excuse me. Minority children with a strong sense of ethnic racial identity are more resilient to the harms of discrimination, study says. Now, this came out on Halloween, or, this year, 2018. As you see, you got our young African males, doing the thing up in Oakland at the Redeemer Center for Kwanzaa. Children as young as 7 years old are able to detect racial and ethnic discrimination aimed at them, according to the recent study. But children who are raised with a strong sense of ethnic racial identity are more resilient to the psychological harms that such discrimination inflicts, the study also found. These findings highlight an importance of reducing discrimination and its precarious effects, as well as promoting a positive sense of ethnic racial identity and belonging to a particular buffer. Children in the interim, said Tippy Yates, one of the study's authors and development psychologist at the University of California, Riverside, in a release statement. The study was published in the Journal of Cultural Diversity and Ethnic Minority Psychology. On a pause, on a side note, how many black people out there knew there was a Journal of Cultural Diversity and Ethnic Minority Psychology? We'll see how many black people. Back to the thing. Earlier research. As background information, the study points out, the negative effect of discrimination on human development has been documented many, many times in prior studies. Much of the research has been with adults, but a study involving adolescents have found that the young people who report more experiences with racial or ethnic discrimination are at greater risk of depression, substance abuse, and risky sexual behavior. They are also less likely to engage with and successful in school. Only few such studies have examined the issue in children as young as 10, but those findings have been similar. One study, which involved African American boys aged 10 to 15, that crucial age when they're about to jump into, adulthood, and they're about to go to puberty, all right? That crucial age, found that the children reports of ethnic and racial discrimination were linked with behavioral problems and feelings of hopelessness and poor self-concepts. The current study is the first one, however, to look at how children younger than 10 perceive experience of discrimination and how those perceptions affect their development over time. 2 rounds of questions. For the Yates study, and her co-author, psychologist Ann Morato of Clark University, examined the experience of 172 children who were 7 years old at the start of the study. Most of the children, 56%, were Latino, while 19% were black. The rest, the 25%, of various multi-ethnic and multiracial backgrounds, slightly more than half the boys. The children were provided with the definition of discrimination. When people discriminate against other people, it means to treat people badly or do not respect them because of their skin color and because they speak a different language or have an accent or because they come from a different country or culture. They were given a questionnaire designed specifically to assess and perceive the experiments of racism and discrimination of young people their age. Question asked the children if they had developed experienced discrimination. A teacher assumed that they were not smart or intelligent enough, or, for example, a peer not want to be friends with them, or someone calling them an insulting name. They were asked to estimate the frequency of these experiences of discrimination. Years later, these children were brought back for a second round of questioning. This time, they were presented with the definition of ethnicity. In this country, people come from different cultures, and there are many different worlds to describe the different backgrounds or ethnic groups that people come from. Some examples of the name of ethnic groups are Mexican American, Hispanic, Black, Asian American, American Indian, Anglo American, and white. Every person is born in one or more ethnic groups, but people differ how important their ethnicity is to them, how they feel about it, and how much their behavior is affected. The children were then asked to rate a series of statements on a 5-point scale from strongly disagree to strongly agree. such as, I have often talked to other people in order to understand my ethnic group, and I understand pretty well that my ethnic background means to me. These children answer to these questions were used to measure the level of their sense of ethnic racial identity. Yates and Manolo then compare all the collective data with the assessment for each child's mental and behavioral health. They found that children who reported a frequency of experience of discrimination were at higher risk of depression, anxiety, and oppositional behavior and other mental health problems. But along the children with the less developed ethnic racial identities. Among the children with strong sense of ethnic racial identities, discrimination tend to have less of an effect on the child's psychological health. Limitation and implications. The study comes at a several caveat and involving a relatively small sampling of children. It also depends on the children's own report to discrimination. Also, the study includes a large number of children from multiple ethnic racial groups, and about 10% of those children were unable to identify with all the groups in which they belong, based on provided information provided by a parent or a caregiver. Still, the study results support the findings of a research of older children. Furthermore, as Yates and Marcella pointed out in their paper, their results might be even more pronounced if the study was done today. The current data was collected between 2011 and 2013, which is well before the widespread public discourse regarding racially motivated violence that has risen prominence over the past few years, they explain. Recent events and media coverage may severely increase the child's experience of discrimination or their awareness of discriminatory experiences directly via media exposure or indirectly via parent socialization in response to the violent events. The researchers added, thus, the current climate magnifies the magnificence of our findings, which support prior assertions that exposure to ethnic racial bias and discrimination at early age has negative implications for later development. I think it's pretty convincingly evident that young children are experiencing and encoded experiences with discrimination in their schools and their peer groups. These experiments have significantly negative effects for their health and well-being. Yates told Claudia Boyd Barnett, a reporter for the California Health Report. At the same time, they're thinking about race and ethnicity, and potentially, if we encourage their thinking about those issues, we can help promote their internment in ethnic racial identity and equip them with really important tools for combating these negative effects. All right. So if you didn't understand the post in a nutshell is, multiculturalism, it shows multicultural, but you got to give your children a strong ethnic racial identity starting very early. So you got to support Black history if you're an African on this stage, African American or whatever you call yourself, African descent, Aboriginal, whatever, what I'm saying, white, Black, whatever. You got to give your kids a strong ethnic identity, at an early age. You have to teach them your history of your people. If that means you got to start up and get into it yourself, you got to do that. But this, like I said before, this is like a kind of I never heard of mini posts before, so I'm going to show more on this video, more something different from more substantial shorts that can be used, So when you say that you Black and you proud, damn it, you mean that shit, and you show your kids that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's detrimental to their development as human beings that you raise them with a racial stock. Not multiculturalism. You know what I'm saying? Even though these kids are different races and religion, races and stuff like that, you don't do that shit. We gonna show that shit though. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? Let me get a minute and get to this stuff. Because we got to show the real. All right, now this is called Psychological Benefits Society. It's 3 essential tips to help kids embrace their racial and ethnic identity. In the 4th part of the series of the blog post that the APA, or American Psychological Association, so I'm taking from the APA, you know what I'm saying? The American Psychological Association, because the government knows about this shit. These people know this shit. Don't let them, try to quasi, mess up your mind and stuff like that. They know this stuff. The APA will publish regarding racial and ethnic socialization practices, programs, and approaches. The APA is putting together a clearinghouse of resources to help parents, caregivers to protect youth of color and themselves from psychological damages of discrimination and racism. All right. And it's done by Chelsea Derlin, PhD, Assistant Professor of Development and Psychological at Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU. All right. In their daily lives, children receive many direct and subtle messages involving their racial and ethnic backgrounds from others. How can that be your dad? You don't match. You should put on sunscreen because you don't want to get too dark. I always thought black people couldn't swim. You act white. Maybe that's it. Although we cannot control every interaction our child has with others, we can do is build up positive images that influence and reflect these interactions have on them. For example, what if we engage in racial ethnic socialization, or RES, that involves the following messages? You are such a perfect mix of mine and your father's culture. You have beautiful brown skin. I love how you get darker in the sun. Your ancestors are black kings and queens. You can do anything you put your mind to it. The RES we provide can have profound effects on our children's well-being. Here are a few tips. Number one, RES is important to all children. It's important that we talk about race and ethnicity with children, all children. A recent ethnic racial identity intervention study provided an opportunity for teenagers to explore their culture and to develop a clear sense of what their ethnic race means to them. Participating had positive effects on the youth from all racial ethnic backgrounds. As caregivers, we can set up similar opportunities by providing a space for our children to ask them questions, process, and learn. And given our unique histories and everyday realities, we want to tailor message based on our children's specific culture and experiences. For example, we might choose to prepare children for a bias they may encounter, highlight stories of their ancestors, right? Because ancestors is very important, you know what I'm saying? Highlight stories of their ancestors or build pride in their experiences. Number two, it's never too early to start. Caregivers often wonder what is the right time to begin RES, and the answer is it was never too early to start. Researchers tell us that by kindergarten, many children already know what their racial ethnicity is and use racial ethnicity as a way to understand themselves with others. We know that when caregivers engage in RES, it has positive effects on the children's academics, behavior, and language skills. An important thing to keep in mind is to craft messages so they will make sense to the children based on the level of their age and understanding. Very young children tend to focus on parts of cultures that they can see, for example, such as skin tone and hair. For example, with black children, you might start with books or videos that highlight how good all hair is good hair, and skin come with a lot of wonderful shades that feature black boys and black girls as main characters. Sometimes it is easy to simply start talking, and other times it's helpful to read a book or watch a video and then afterwards build a conversation afterwards. Number three is don't give up. Despite our most dedicated efforts, there will be times when the children questions and or disagreements with our teachings. I came across an article in which a mother wrote about a time when her daughter said, "Mommy, I don't want to be black like you." After talking to her daughter, she realized it wasn't that my daughter didn't want to be black. She was simply struggling to deal with the perceptions and understanding of who she is. Realistically, I don't know how the world will view her, and I can't shield her from it. What I can do is make sure she knows who she is and that she is loved and that she fully loves herself. Fully. Although times like these can be discouraging, we can't give up. We have to listen and remember that our children are understanding and interpreting their own experience might not always match our own. RES is a process that involves many lessons over time as the children have difficult experiences. New things will pop up. Our goal is to create a support system so they will know there is someone they can go to who will talk or listen. It's about planting those positive seeds for them that they can carry the water when they need to. It is an opportunity to show us and show our children love and compassion to help them understand themselves and prepare for a better tomorrow with children of today. Okay, and that's from the APA resiliency, you know what I'm saying, the RES stuff. So this is from the APA. RES means, let me go back to it. RES means racial ethnic socialization. You know what I'm saying? Racial ethnic, that's what they call it, RES. So what you gonna teach the babies? You know, people get mad like there's a couple hot stars on here that talk about how, you know, the last generation failed us and stuff like that, you know, and got wrapped up in this multiculturalism world, you know, the baby boomer generation and stuff like that. So what we got to do, if you agree or disagree with that, that's fine. I'm not gonna. That's not the point. The point is, what is black culture going to be to teach the children, or what is the culture in general going to be to teach the children? You know what I'm saying? The culture is where your history's at. You know what I'm saying? Like the Sheikh Anna Diop said on one of the videos I posted about culture identity, people without a culture or a culture continuity is just a people. But a people with a culture continuity is a nation. All right? So remember that. People with a culture continuity, they know their culture, they're a nation. So y'all think about that. This is Iskosi Umfundisi. Hey, I thank you for listening. You know, thank you for watching and subscribe to the channel. Peace.